Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. Today I've got video number 1 out of 3 in the Kitchen Table Stamper Measure of Love Stamp-A-Stack. This is our first card. The Stamp-A-Stack will make 2 of this design. And then our second card, Sweet Friend. Now I couldn't just leave the Sweet Friend. It felt incomplete to me. So Sweet Friend, our friendship tips the scale. So that's card number 2, and the Stamp-A-Stack makes 3 of this card. And then our third and final card, Love You More. Well, it's just so cute, and it makes 2 of this card. So this is a 3 video series, and you are jumping in on video number 1, where we'll make this card. Now, there is an optional Measure of Love Stamp-A-Stack class packet in the Kitchen Table Stamper online classroom. And in this class packet, you'll have all of the cardstock and envelopes, designer series paper, ribbon, everything that you need to make these 7 cards with some extra designer series paper and ribbon to play. So we are going to work on this saffron card. I'm going to grab my kits, and I've already taken a half a sheet of Whisper White out of the kit and did what I need for the second copy of the card. So we'll take that out of there, and then our designer series paper, we're going to choose a few pieces. We're going to take this floral. Of course, you can do whichever patterns you like. I'm going to just copy the ones that I chose the first time around exactly because I love the way they turned out. But this is mix and match. You can do whatever floats your boat. Please choose from the papers that you like. All right. Let's see here. There's one more floral. There it is. All right. So these are the guys that I'm going to go with. This is what I used. I got the 2 multicolor florals, the Just Jade chevron, and this bumblebee monochromatic floral. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our designer series paper so that we can get all 7 cards. So we'll start with this multicolor floral here because it's part of this first card, and we're going to cut this guy right in half at 3 inches. And then we're going to rotate and cut 4 inches. And then same here. We've got 2 4x3 pieces now for this card that we're working on. All right. Now these we're going to set aside. These are going to be for our Calypso Coral cards. So I'm going to grab my kit, and I'm just going to drop those right in the envelopes right now so that they're ready to go. So these are 3x2 pieces of that multicolor floral. Then I'm just going to go through and cut these papers so that you can show you how to get the most out of your papers. And I'm going to sort them right into the envelopes as we go. So the next one that we need here is this Just Jade chevron. Now, this one we're going to take 2 inches, and then we're going to cut. So we've got 2 inches, then we're going to cut 4.5. Oh, and here we've got a nice little square scrap that we can keep. We're going to cut this in half, 1 inch. So there's our 2 1-inch pieces, 1 by 4.5 for this card that we're working on here. Now the next one we're going to do is we're going to take off 3 inches. And then we're going to cut 3 3/4. And now we've got the biggest possible scraps we can have and still make these cards in this design. Now we're going to cut 1-inch strips off of this. So we'll have 3 pieces for our Just Jade card. I'm going to pop those right in my Just Jade envelopes. Now the printable project sheets for these, there are always free printable project sheets on the blog, kitchentablestamper.com. Will have the measurements that you need for each of the papers without cutting the whole set. So if you just wanted to make one, then the measurement is on the project sheet. But if you're going to make the whole set, then you're going to cut this 1-inch strip at 3.5 and then cut 1/2-inch strips. And these little 1/2-inch strips are for our Calypso Coral card. One in each kit. Now, our next paper is this Bumblebee monochromatic one. This one we're going to cut 3 inches and then 3 inches. So we got 2 pieces here. And these also into the Calypso Coral card kit. Pop that guy right in there. And now we need our 3 strips. So this is 4 3/4. And again, we've got the biggest scrap that we could possibly get from that paper. 3 1-inch strips. These are for your Just Jade card. One more piece of designer series paper to cut. It's the other multi-color floral piece. So let's get that guy. Now this one is going to be 5 1/4 by 2. So we're going to cut the 5 1/4. This little strip is going to be a little decorative element on our So Saffron card, but it's not quite long enough. So hold on to that for just a second. Let's get these 2-inch pieces cut here, because these are for our Just Jade card. There they are. We're going to pop these into that card base, and then we're going to have to go back into our designer series paper one more time, and we're going to need another piece of this paper. I couldn't quite get all 7 cards from the 4 pieces. I needed one more 3/4-inch strip of the pink on the back of here. So let's just go ahead and take 3/4 of an inch right off of there, and that is for our second So Saffron card. So there's our designer series paper cutting. Now let's take a look at what's in the kit. If you're joining us without the kit, you'll need a So Saffron card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And if you're going to do the whole set, you'll need 2 of those. Then you'll also need a Whisper white strip for your sentiment, or a basic white strip for your sentiment. This is 3/8 of an inch by 4 1/4. And I cut ahead of time 2 hearts from Calypso Coral. Now my hearts are from the retired Stitched Be Mine die set, but of course you could use any hearts that you have. I like that primitive shape, and I had some left from another project, so it was really easy to just use them up in these card kits, and they were the perfect match. All right, I'm gonna get some paper and protect my surface here. Got a pad of little grid paper and some Calypso Coral ink. I'm going to give this heart just a little bit of interest. We're going to stamp on it kind of randomly, color on color. And I'm using the script background. And I'm just going to see if I can kind of do them both at one time. Doesn't that look kind of cool? Let me show you where that came from. That script background is from the Quiet Meadow stamp set. It's a gorgeous 10-piece rubber stamp set. I bought it. I love the dies that go with this bundle, the Quiet Meadow bundle, but I got bundled on the stamp set because I love these two background pieces, and then this little guy is cool too. All right, so let's slide aside our hearts, and we're gonna get Stampin' Pierce Matte, the white cardstock from the kit. You've got some half sheets and some more Stampin' pads here. Got Memento Tuxedo Black, Soft Succulent, and just Jade for our greens. We were gonna do two. I went ahead and did one, colored it, ready to go for 2 copies of this card. And we're gonna take our scale and stamp and Memento. Then the little needle for our scale, Calypso Coral. I love that. I love this 2-step Stampin'. Then our bowl of cherries. Stamp the bowl. And then the little hearts to decorate the bowl. Those are Soft Succulent. And the cherries. Stamp those guys right inside the bowl, nice and easy. Cute. And just Jade for the stems. I love this stamp set. Oh my, that's adorable. Okay, let me clear away the ink pads and get some Stampin' Blends. We'll color the scale. All right, my scale is shades of yellow. I've got my So Saffron combo and my light Daffodil Delight. The tray is gray granite. I'm going to start with the base of light So Saffron. And I'm gonna, oh, look at this one. I feel like needs a little bit better blending. See? I love the flexibility of these. And now that I'm under the video lights, I felt like that needed a little more blending. So I just went back and did it. All right, the beauty of the Stampin' Blends is that you can get a good, solid, no squiggly lines, no unevenness. You can just color in nice and solid and look super professional. But if you want to, you can kick it up a little bit and you can do some blending of the shades to add some depth to your coloring. So you can see I got my light So Saffron and I'm doing a nice solid color base coat. We can just leave it right there if we wanted to. No streaks, no splotches. It looks great, but we're gonna take it up just a little bit by coloring a shadow along the left and right edges of our scale. And that's it, just little circles. Now, the very far edge here, because the difference between the shades of the So Saffron is not a lot, so we're just gonna add a line of Daffodil Delight right along the extreme edge there. Then we'll bring everything back together with a little bit of light So Saffron. And just kind of blend it back to the middle with little circles. That's it. That's our little scale. Now let's do the tray on top. I've got light gray granite. And I'm gonna go ahead and just fill this in with a nice solid base coat. Again, little circles so you get a nice smooth fill. And then you could just leave it right there if you wanted to. It looks great. But if you want to add a little bit of dimension, we'll shade the edge of our scale here. Just bring together the light and the dark with a little squiggle. There it is. Now these need to be cut. I'm going to use my paper snips and just cut these dudes out. When I do fussy cutting, cut them apart, work one at a time. I leave a little white border that keeps the integrity of the stamped image and keeps the attention on this edge of the stamp image instead of on the edge of your cutting. I turn the paper into the scissors and not drive the scissors or hack the scissors around the image. So your non-dominant hand drives. You want to support the scissor. You should use your ring finger or your middle finger in the bottom loop, the index finger and or the index finger and middle finger support the bottom blade. And if you try those tips, you'll get better at fussy cutting, I promise. And if you don't already like it, you'll love it. If you don't already love it, well, you'll learn to like it a little better with some of those tips, I hope. All right, I'm gonna fussy cut these out and I'll meet you right back here with the pieces. All right, we've got all of our little bits cut. Let's do one more bit of stamping though. We need a sentiment. Got my tuxedo black again, and then my 3/8 inch strips. My greeting says, "You more than measure up." Grab this guy. We've been stamping with this stamp set and I didn't even show you it, did I? The Measure of Love stamp set that we're using here. Scale and the bowl, little 2-step stamping for that bowl. Our greeting, "You more than measure up." This one's a 17-piece photopolymer stamp set from Stampin' Up and brand new in the annual catalog. All right, so we're gonna put "You more than measure up" on our little strip here. It's gonna be a tight squeeze, but I think it looks really great in the design. So it's also a really good way to use up all those skinny little white scraps that you're always generating if you're a crafter. All right, you more than measure up. Let's get the ink pads out of the way and grab the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. We're gonna emboss our card fronts. You can do whatever you want on your card fronts. You can stamp them, you can emboss them. I'm using the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder for my cards. I think the macrame would be pretty cute if you're looking for a suggestion. And of course you could stamp the background. There's a really cute little floral background that could be fun to do random stamp. So here is our So Saffron card base. We're gonna pop that in. We're gonna emboss the entire card front on this design. Pop it in, give it a crank, and ×2 if you're going to do the whole set of 7 cards. You'll do 2 card fronts just like this. It's really cute, isn't it? All right, let's get this guy out of there. And we'll adhere our Designer Series papers to the card fronts. I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to be very generous because we're adhering down to this bumpy 3D embossed surface. We're going to center our multicolored floral design. Then we're going to come in with our Just Jade and run across a banner. Don't go all the way to the left edge because it's going to go off the edge just a bit. And then the back side, this kind of flirty flamingo pink one, that's going to go at an angle and off the edge. It's okay. Now we'll get a little more multi-purpose liquid glue in there now that we know exactly where it ends. And burnish. Now the little heart, let's get that guy on. We don't want it to go off the edge, almost to the fold. Kind of a little angle. You more than measure up. Glue that one over. Now at this point we can turn over the card, trim off the extra length on our banners, sweep that away. Cute, isn't it? I'm gonna catch up this guy with those steps, make sure that I got glue all the way to the edge on my banner. And let me just get this guy all caught up, our second copy. All right, our images need some dimensionals now. All right, everybody's got dimensionals, and my dimensionals are all sticky. Let's pop our little scales and bowls onto our card. So cute. think everybody needs to hear you more than measure up once in a while, don't you think? How cute is that? What a great way to say you're doing great. There it is. Now our embellishments. Let me grab that bag for my kit. And included in the kit, you've got some soft succulent ribbon and little heart charms. We're going to take the heart charms, loop some of that gorgeous succulent ribbon, and tie a bow. Just slide through and loop up. Don't worry about tying it to the charm. That'll just make it bulky. So just slide through, loop up over the top, tuck and pull. That'll give you a little bow charm combo embellishment. And we'll cut that away from the spool. All right, let me do the second copy and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got 2 of our little embellishment combos here for our 2 cards. Little glue dot right on the back of the knot, the bow, and right on the card. And that's it. Pretty cute, huh? You more than measure up. Let's get that little guy embellished. And there's our originals. Got any questions about the project? Email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. To get the optional class packet, head over to kitchentablestamper.com/shop. And to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.